Today we are starting a new series, and the topic is on poverty. Well, initially I wanted to just discuss about the effects of poverty on children, but I realized that when we say poverty is a huge and is a big topic that has so many branches. And for us to just go straight to talking about its effects on children, we have to look at what is poverty in the first place. And perhaps, in fact, you've heard and have seen people that are considered to be poor. And what is poverty? Based on Oxford Dictionary, Oxford defined poverty as a state of being extremely poor. Extremely poor. Thousands of families are living in abject poverty. And let's look at other definition of poverty. You say, what is poverty? You say a state or condition in which a person or community lacks the financial resources and other essentials for a minimum standard of living. Poverty striking people and families may go without proper housing, clean water, healthy food, and medical attention. That is their definition of poverty. Now, if we are to go with this definition, we can say that poverty is a state or a condition whereby people cannot afford basic needs. And what are the basic needs of every human being? Food, shelter, and what? Food, shelter, and health. Food, shelter, and health. So when a person cannot afford that is according to the dictionary and according to other sources. But I want us to look into three categories of poverty. Now, number one category, which everybody, when you go to a certain community, they will tell you that we are poor. In fact, if you are to come to Malawi, they will tell you we are poor. Malawians will tell you that we are poor. So for them, they don't have the standard. Their standard of living is not to the standard, is not to the average or normal standard that is considered. And now, if you are to ask yourself the question, who set up the standard that if you are below that standard, you will be considered as poor? Who is the person that really said, okay, this is the standard? If you are in this level, then you are not considered to be poor. So number one, poverty, one category of poverty, which is can say that is what is a physical or material poverty. Material poverty. That is the absence of things that we can see and touch. Material poverty. That's number one. It is those that lack, because when we talk about basic needs are things that we can see and identify and say, okay, this is it. So people that lack those basic things, that material things of this life, they lack food, they lack shelter, and they lack basic amenities. And I don't know if you have ever come across people that materially they are really poor. And when you see those people, you know that they may have other things, but because the society has rated or yes, has rated poverty to be lack of basic amenities, and you see those people are being considered as poor. And I brought the example of here, this country. When you come to this country, in fact, if you everywhere you go is you see that the land is just fertile. When you dig the ground, the sand you will see is just black. And if you know a fertile ground, when you see a black soil, you know that soil is what is rich. So everywhere you go here, you will see the soil is black. It means the soil is rich. But the people in the country we say if you meet an average Malawi, you say we are poor. So it means that is number one category of poverty, that they lack the basic amenities. They don't have good houses and they don't have other things. Some of them may have you will literally see people that are eating pap, that is maize. You mix maize flour and you make a pap. You literally see somebody eating that with salt, or you see somebody eating that with just a very tiny quantity of cabbage, because he can't afford any other thing. So that is number one category of poverty. And the second category of poverty is the mind. When you talk about the psychological poverty, or the mind poverty. The mind, the poverty of the mind. The poverty of the mind. A poverty, when somebody is poor in his mind, he already conclude that I have nothing. And that is what questions, one of the questions my husband normally asks them. If you said here you are poor and there are other people that are coming, your country, half of the country are owned by the Asians, and you see them riding big cars. If your country is poor, why are these people getting rich in your country? So now the poverty, the poverty of the mind tells a person that he's poor and there is nothing he can do about it. The poverty of the mind tells the person that others are getting it, and no matter what he does, there is nothing he can do about his own situation. So the person subjects himself under a self-pity and he see no opportunity. When a person is poor in his mind, even when he will give him riches, he will squander it in a day, because to him, that is his own state. That is, nobody can do anything about it, and nothing can change. He believes that God has placed him and has created him to be poor. He may be complaining and be groaning and be doing things and be going about begging, because he has accepted his position and he don't see any light. He doesn't see anything. He doesn't see even the need to do anything about it. So the poverty of the mind is the worst and dangerous poverty. And a lot of people are under this category, the poverty of the mind. Because every person, every man, every woman that is created in God's image, God created that person with the ability to create, with the ability to make riches, with the ability to produce something, with the ability to learn something. But when the person feel like, I am not born in riches, I'm not born in a home, I'm not born with a silver spoon, and just believe that. And these are those guys that you will see around. They will just say, every rich person they see around, they say they are When they see a rich person, they'll say, it's a blood money. Don't mind them, it's a blood money. They don't believe that people can become rich by working hard. They believe that every riches is from the devil. And for that reason, it's an excuse. They don't want to do devil's work. And therefore, that is why they are poor. They are poor because they don't want to engage themselves in diabolic means and get riches. So they don't want to do that. And therefore, because they don't want to do, that's why they are poor. So they give excuses to their condition. They give excuses. And these are those people that are vulnerable to so many things. Vulnerable to all these schemes. Quick rich. Those schemes, you see, for here they have this like miracle money. Somebody will just call you that if you send in money in your pocket, one day you will just wake up and then your pocket will be full of money. Or they will tell you that you will just go and find a certain amount of money in your bank account. It's just a miracle money. So when a person is poor in his mind, he believes in all sort of schemes. He feels like, I just sit down and then money will just come. And when they are not getting it, they point their fingers and they feel like God shows favoritism, like God is favoring others. And so you see this kind of people, very confused human being. They are jumping from one prayer house to the other because they feel like the blessings of God is on a particular man or woman of God. They need to pray for them to cut away. They will pray and cause all the spirit of poverty to die in their lives. They feel like by praying and fasting, casting every demon of poverty, things will just start to fall in place. Because they are poor in their mind. They can't think. They can't use their mind. They can't use their brain. They can't use what God has given them. They have accepted their condition, but at the same time, they want something to happen in a miraculous way. And when things are not happening, they sit around and judge anybody that they see. They said, because he's stealing in his office. They are the one that when you see, you will see, this one is, when did he starts just stealing. Every lady they see that is working hard and earning money, they will say that she's just sleeping with men. If it is a man, they will say he's stealing in his office. If it is a married woman, they will say she's sleeping with her boss. So for them, nothing just comes naturally. Hard work and resilience doesn't count for them. For them, you just have to get it by crook because they don't know what they have. And because they don't know what they have, they think that everybody is like them that doesn't use the God-given talents. And this is this number 2 in many people. And perhaps we can say maybe like 50 to 60% of people fall under this category, where they don't think God has blessed them. They feel they have to get it by all means. And when it's not happening, then it is God's fault, not their own. And now the third poverty, the category, is the spiritual poverty, which is found in Matthew chapter 5. Jesus said, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs the kingdom of God." Yes, for there, let's see, blessed are the poor in spirit. Let's see, blessed are the poor in spirit, or blessed are the poor in heart. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Yeah. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Matthew chapter 5 verse 3. Those who are recognized their spiritual need. Okay, now blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs it is the kingdom of heaven. So the last category of poverty are those that are poor in the spirit, the spiritual poverty. And unfortunately, we go to our churches, we talk about believers. We are not talking about churchgoers. We are talking about those that believe in Jesus. But now we're talking about the poverty, which this place Jesus was talking about it. It's a positive thing that you are poor in spirit. But now let me just look at, I categorize this poor in spirit into two. One are those that are in need of God. They are in need. They are empty. Their life, they don't know even why they are in church. If you ask them, why are you a Christian? They will start telling you stories, how they became Christians. In fact, they can't tell you how they became Christians. They will tell you that I was born in the church and what. They don't know why they are believers in the first place. So they can't defend their faith in any way. They are just there. They go to church, they come to activities, and if they ask to pray and fast, they will do it. But they don't know anything. They don't know the reason of their faith. They don't know anything. And they don't acknowledge their need. They don't know that they need something. They feel that they are okay. Because they feel the being a Christian is just to go to church and attend some activities. And when it is so, and they do all of these things. So these people, they are poor in spirit, but they don't know, and therefore they are not seeking anything. That is the second category I talk about, the poverty of the mind. They have it, but they don't acknowledge that they need to do something. They don't know that they have it, because they feel like they don't have it while they have it. And so they don't seek anything. They don't desire to do anything with what they have because they feel they don't have it. So this last category, yes, they are in the church, but they don't feel that they are not really, they are poor in their spirit. They are just there, and they may just be arguing on unnecessary things that had no value to their spiritual life. So when we talk about a close relationship with God for them, they don't need it. They will just be because they don't feel the need and they don't know that they need anything. And the second category, which is Jesus blessed them, are those that they know they need God and they desire Him. In fact, in a Christian journey, anytime you feel like you have enough of God, believe you me, something is going wrong with your spiritual life. God allows us to be in constant need of Him, so that He said, where is it? He said, blessed are those. There's a place that Jesus said, so that they will be filled. You cannot be filled if you don't have a space in you. You need to have a space so that you feel it. For instance, I'll give you a cup of water. If you don't take a sip, I can't add anything. If I add it, it will just be a waste. And you will not value what I add because you have enough. So the moment you feel that you are so full and you don't need addition, believe you me, you are on your way to something else. Because the spiritual life, the way God programmed us, is that on a daily basis, our life will be deducted. Something will be reduced. And that is what Paul said. He said, let me be a decrease while Christ increase in me. So somebody that say, let me decrease, it means he's desiring to need. He's desiring that his life will reduce so that he will be needing Christ to fill it up. So the third category of poverty, which is the spiritual poverty, is something that all of us should desire. All of us should desire that we get hungry and get thirsty, that we may be filled on a daily basis. And guess what? There are things that challenge and make us to feel empty of Him. So many issues of life that comes on a daily basis. And that is when, before you know what is happening, you're saying, oh God, please help me. Oh God, please help me. And if you are in that category, believe you me, God is teaching you, and he wants you to depend on Him. And that is why you have this condition, or that situation that makes you to be helpless. And all that you can utter is, God have mercy and God help me. Because if you can solve your own problems by yourself, if you can just press a button and things will disappear, believe you me, you and I will not need God. We will just be pressing the buttons and just go on with our lives because we can do it. If I can just press the button, why should I stress myself on doing something? Why should I bother? So you see that daily, on a daily basis, God allows us to go through something, or allow challenges to come our way, so that we can reach a point that we know for sure that we need Him. And that is what He's saying. The poverty that Jesus was talking about. Blessed are the poor in spirit, because it's something that your spirit desire. It's something that you look up inside and out and you feel, oh no, I have to look up to God. That is the poverty that we pray, that we need to pray. Not only for ourselves, but for our families, for the church. Any other poverty can be conquered when this one is being prioritized. When we desire, I was in a community where I saw abject poverty. And that time, in fact, my life entirely has been God teaching me lessons. And I used to ask Him, God, why are you teaching me this? Why am I going through this? Why do you open my eyes to see the conditions of people that I cannot do anything about it? Why have you brought me? You will take me to a situation. You will take me to a situation where I will see people and there is nothing I can do about it. And there were times that I would say, God, please, I think I have learned the lesson. Even though I don't know what you want me to do with the lessons. Until now, I get to understand that that is why He took me through all those things that I went through in life. And some may not be personal, but some, it can just be people. But I can just, God will help me to just put myself in their shoes. And perhaps I may even get myself so worried and walked out and had a sleepless night. Now, some of those experiences I had those days, I had this experience of seeing people going to bed without food. I have seen people looking around. You will go to a room, of course is in the village, you will see is a round hut. And you go to the room, they only have a wrapper they will use to put on the floor. They will sleep on the wrapper. In the morning, the same wrapper they will use to tie on their body. The same wrapper they use on the ground. It's the same wrapper on a bare ground, like on the sand. Then they will use the same wrapper to tie it and walk around in the village. If you go to the room, it's literally there is nothing in the room. They will have cup. They will drink water. Sometimes they have to put something soap because it's leaking. If you go to their house, they may not even have a cup to give you water with it. And because it's a village, they use calabash. And they have to go somewhere and get the calabash because they can't afford to buy anything. And they can make food without even salt. Sometimes they don't have it. They can only use potash. And the potash is the local one. They want to cook. They don't have firewood to cook. They use dung. They use cow dung to use it as a firewood to cook. I'm not telling you a story. I'm telling you something that I've experienced. I saw it. They use cow dung and use it to cook. And sometimes they will put water and they don't know what to cook. They will go around and look for maize flour. And if they are able to get that maize flour in that house, or sometimes if they are tired of baking, of course, they will go to maize mill. And then they will go there and, you know, when they are grinding maize, those, you will have the remnants dropping on the ground, pouring on the ground. They will send their son to that maize mill. And then the son will work in that place. So that when he is done working, they will gather the maize flour that falls out. And then they will give it to him. Then he will bring it back home. You know, you go to the maize mill, people are marching with sand and things like that. And that is what these people will bring home. He will bring it home. And then the mother will work it out and remove the good one. Of course, that food, you don't chew it. Because if you're chewing it, you will chew sand. They will mix it. And then they will get goats. This is the village. They can get maybe kuka or something. And they will only put potash, which is from the... They will go and get it from neighbors. And then they will use it. That's the only thing. The potash, the water, they boil it. They put the potash. And then they put whatever thing they were able to get. And then they cook that. And that was it. That was their life. That was their life. I have seen that. So if you're talking about poverty, I have seen abject poverty. And the reason why I brought up this topic, because today we don't see poverty to that level, even though I know that some people may be going through that. But something is happening today in the body of Christ. And some people may say because of poverty. Some may be in the church and they will say we are poor. And like I said, like I said in my opening, that this is going to be a series because there are so many things, so many topics, so many subtopics under this. Before we address the issue of the effects of poverty on children, we're going to address so many issues, branches under poverty. So this is just like, this more like an introduction in the 3 types of poverty I streamlined. many types, but for me, I just streamlined it into 3. 1, we call it a physical poverty, and 2, mental poverty, and 3, spiritual poverty. So thank you very much for connecting, and thank you for connecting and staying tuned, and I hope to see you next week by God's grace to continue with this topic. Have a wonderful Sunday service, and enjoy enjoy the presence of God tomorrow. So thank you very much. I see Linus, my brother Linus from Gombe. Have 2 days I've not seen you. Thank you for connecting today. Thank you, Auntie Christy. Thank you for connecting. Thank you, my baby. Thank you, my love. Thank you for connecting. Thank God for your phone today. Thank you, Auntie and Kari. Thank you for connecting. And thank you, my husband. Before you said, thank you for connecting. Hope to see you next time. Shalom.